Okay, hello, this is Dr. James, and today we're going to talk about Raspberry Pis that won't boot. Here's this Raspberry Pi 3, and it is having some kind of issue. We have it hooked up HDMI cable, and it has a little camera on it, but that's beside the point. And we have a power plug here that we haven't plugged in yet, so we'll hook up the power plug to it and watch it boot and see what kind of error we're getting. So we have it hooked up to the LG TV. Let's plug her in. Okay, and there's our screen, and all sorts of stuff's going on over here, and then all of a sudden it stops. Let's take a look here. Says panic VFS unable to mount. Root FS unknown. Processor 0 due to keyboard entry. And it looks like, from looking online, there's a lot of other people with Raspberry Pis that are having a similar problem, and they're claiming it's some kind of write issue to the disk. Of course, the disk here is a little SD card on the bottom. Okay, so we'll see if we can solve this problem. Okay, there was some claims that maybe because the power supply wasn't at the right level, that might cause an error. I know the Raspberry Pi is very sensitive to being run at the proper voltage levels, so I tried a different power supply down there, two different ones, and it looks like we're still getting the same error. So let's take a look at the disk. Okay, so anyway, this is Dr. James, and we've been having some issues with our Raspberry Pi. It fails to boot, and so we've taken the disk out of our Raspberry Pi, and we put it into one of these SD card adapters, and we plugged it into our computer here, and we have our Linux terminal up, and if you don't have it, you can do a search in this thing up here to find your terminal. And let's do a command df-h, and what that's going to tell us is what drives are hooked up. And we did this command earlier without the SD card plugged in, so I know that this is the device we just plugged in is SDD, so that's what Linux has designated it as. So /dev/SDD. So let's just run a check on this disk, and maybe we can try to fix it afterwards. fsck /dev/SDD. Okay. Ooh, okay. You must have read-write access to files or be root. Okay, let's try sudo fsck fsck/dev/SDD. So sudo puts you into root. It gives you super user power. So let's check that over, make sure it looks right. File system check. And it wants our password. It's interesting. It's in use. Why is it in use? Okay. Yes, let's try ejecting it and Okay, so let's try a different command here. So this command, the minus nf, is supposed to force it to do the check, but won't do any changes. So we can do this just to see what the errors are, because it wasn't even allowing us to do anything before. Okay, so now we got a little bit more information. It says warning, SDD is in use, bad magic number in superblock invalid, trying backup blocks, bad magic number. Okay, so now we got a little bit more information. Let's look into that and see if there's something we can do. Might try running a fix on this. So let's look into this for a second. Okay, so I believe the last example just forced it to say no, but yet it also forced it. Let's just try doing just a minus f. So we'll try to force it to work, but maybe allow us to change things if we need to change something. That's right, we want sudo. Let's just do minus f. Okay. Guess we could try automatically correcting it. Let's just try unmounting it. Try YF. Okay, I guess we'll have to look into this a little bit more and see why it's not allowing us to do that. Okay, so I guess it's giving us a hint here. It's saying that maybe we should try this other command here, e2 fsck, and scan for bigger super blocks, because it can't seem to read the super blocks that it's looking at right now, so it wants to try a different size. So I guess we can try that. Alright. Who knows what's going to work until you try it. Okay, and I think like before we had to do sudo, right? device/SDD. I assume that's the proper. Okay, does everything look good? Okay, so it doesn't like that one either. Let's try 32768. The other one seemed to work when we put the minus -nf command in there. Okay, it does not like that. Okay, so this does not seem to be working either. Okay, well, guess we'll continue. Let's try the other one that worked one more time. Or that did something at least. Okay, I just tried to run a variation of this command. Let's see if we can pull it up on the window. It seems like it's mounted SDD1 partition. So, and it's when I'm running the whole partition, it seems to have an issue on that, or the whole disk. So I figured I'd just do the same scan that was doing something, but just on SDD2, which is where the problem is. That's the big block. And I got this error up here. Let's see if it does the same thing again, because sometimes when you run the commands, they don't redo the things. Okay, so we ran sudo fsck -nf, and then just on the second partition, corrupt group or descriptor bad blocks for bitmap. Trying to back up block. Super block has invalid journal. Illegal inode number. Warning, file system still has errors. Just out of curiosity. Let's just try this command on the second partition. Okay, and there is always that command. You can try that one on the second partition also. Is that what they're suggesting? The fsck -b. Okay, what's going on here? Superblock has an invalid journal. Should we clear it? I don't have any idea. I guess yes. Journal has been deleted. File system is now ext only. S2 was clearly unmounted. Resize inode not valid. Yes. Checking inode block sizes. Yes. Okay. Try correcting that. Good. Yes. Inode is not in use, so it looks like this is finally doing something. Okay. Undeleted directory inode has invalid mode. Inode size, okay. Take a very long time to go through. So I think you got the idea. It's doing something. This is a very risky process that we're doing here. I'm going to stop the video for a second and try to click through this stuff, and then we will maybe try it and see if the system boots after this. Okay, so it was just going through every inode there is, and this has got what, 16 gigabytes of memory, so I could be here for the next 50 years typing yes to that. So I hit Control Z to get out of it, and let's take a look at the command that we used last time. Okay. So this is the one that worked. -b. I think maybe if we do -y, it will say yes to everything. Yes. Let's try that. Oh. Now it's in use. Mount -L. Okay, so I guess we're mounted on it. Umount /dev/sdd2. Okay, so we just tried using the fixed disk and doing it manually, and it looked like it had a bazillion things to fix, and I'm a little bit nervous about that because I had to stop it first of all halfway through because I couldn't sit there and do 16 gigs of inodes one by one. Yes, yes, yes. So let's try doing an automatic fix, and I'm not so sure this is going to work in my case. Maybe it'd work in yours. If it doesn't work, I just plan to rewrite the data back onto the SD card because I made a copy of it first, and we will try again, I guess, try something different. Okay, so here's our command, and before we told it to go no, now we'll tell it to go yes and force. So it's a sudo fixed disk, yes to everything, force it to work, and /device/SDD, which is our SDD card. And let's try that command and see if it does something. Okay. Oh, right. Right, it is SDD, right? /device/SDD. Use, huh? Okay, so that command sudo fsck -p seems to be doing something. Let's see. Without unexpected inconsistency, run it manually without -a or -p. File system was modified. Okay. So we ran it with the, let's see what command we ran there. Let's bring it back up. So we ran it with sudo fsck yes and force on SDD2 only, because it didn't seem to want to mount SDD1 or the whole thing. So it seemed to work on STD2, and I guess it entered yes for everything, and so maybe it fixed something. So we can try it now and see if we can mount it, see if test it to see if it works, see if that fixed it. I have my doubts, but let's just take a look. I'm still not seeing it under there. Okay, so maybe we'll try sticking it in the Raspberry Pi and see if it boots. Seeing if it boots, and if not, we will fiddle around with this some more, because I had some stuff on there I want to recover, and there are some other ways to recover stuff. So okay, anyway, okay, so I just figured I'd run another quick check on the disk again, and it would kind of fail to go through it, you know, the -N, and it barfed on that. So it obviously was still having problems, so I figured and I tried to run it with the check where it just goes through and corrects everything, the -Y -F, and it kind of barfed on that too. So I just did sudo fsck -f/device and went through and clicked yes, and there's only about 10 things I had to click onto to fix, so it wasn't too bad, and it looks like it finished. And so maybe I'll just try running it through there again, and okay, just running the disk check again, and it's kind of hanging again. That's interesting. So maybe I'll continue this process a few more times. And warning, system still has errors. Okay, so looks like it finished, and we'll just do the force thing again, and corrupt group descriptor, bad block for inode bitmap. Group descriptor looks bad. Trying backup blocks. Inode group, blah blah. Okay, so we'll try doing the yes 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 thing again, and hopefully it's not a bazillion different fixes we have to do. And if it is, you can get out of this program. I think it was either Control Q or Control Z that I used to get out of it. Okay, so the system was modified, and it looks like it finished again. Let's do another check on it, and it's still hanging up here. So we'll continue fiddling with this for a little bit more, and when it's okay, the system still has errors. So let's try doing the force check again on it, and say yes, yes, yes to fixing checksums and stuff. And we'll try this for a while and see if it works. Okay. Anyway, and when I get happy with this, we'll stick it in the Raspberry Pi and see if it boots. Hopefully it boots, and I can get my my stuff working again, because we have some interesting things I'd like to do with that. I've got a thermal camera here, so anyway. Okay, so we have our Raspberry Pi hooked up again to the power supply to our TV here, and let's try booting her up. We tried using the fixed disk command from Linux and going through all sorts of different settings, all options, and trying to fix boot blocks. So let's try starting her up again. Okay, and here we go. It looks like, let's take a closer look here. Looks like it's still hanging up. And so what I might try to do is I might try to recopy because I made a backup image of the disk before I started this process. One thing I could do is I could try to recopy that back onto the same SD, or maybe it's a different, maybe there's a problem with the SD card. Maybe I should get a different SD card and try copying it onto that, and try some different options on the fixed disk. Go through the process again and see if we can fix it. And if that doesn't work, because that's the best option, we'll have all of our setups and we'll be able to just start the disk back up and run everything like normal. But if that doesn't work, then maybe I'll try doing some other programs to try to recover specific files which are only on this device for this camera, because I like to do some stuff with that. That's a FLIR camera, so that should be interesting. We can get that working again. So anyway, this is Dr. Janes, and thanks for watching.